Morning! Today we are planting some more potatoes!
More spuds!
We've decided that we really need to get them in the ground. A couple of weeks after the first planting, so we have been trying to find an area to plant some more potatoes that will be hopefully a little bit less work. So let me explain our thinking. So, as many of you will be aware, we do get quite a few javali or wild boar on our property. We regularly see in the mornings tracks from the wild boar where they have softened the ground, and this happens to be one of them areas. So we're using the wild boar to our advantage, so we don't need to dig and prepare an area. We've looked.
Helped us out.
They have. We've looked in a bit into lazy potato planting, and this is kind of what we plan to do. So we've got some softened soil that doesn't have any grass growing on it. We're going to chuck the potatoes down, well, roughly, and then use some soil from, we're on a bit of a hill here, so pull some of the soil back from the hill over the potatoes and then heavily mulch them, and hopefully the potato tubers will grow up through the next level of soil and through the levels of mulch, and then it'll be really easy for us to harvest them as well, because we've lots still to plant and I don't want them to be wasted. So cloudy this morning, looking out at the valley, but the area where we're stood now gets so much sunshine whenever it's warm. When the sun's out, here gets it big time. So we're not too worried that there is a little bit of tree cover here for shade because it gets warm. The other good thing about this area is, if you listen, water.
Lots of water close by.
So easy watering for our spuds. Now, I know last time we planted potatoes, I had lots of people tell me I was doing it wrong. And yes, I probably did, but we have greens at the top of the potatoes, so they have grown anyway. I suppose, to be honest, actually, by the time I had planted maybe potato number 300, I was not paying any attention whatsoever to what side up or down the chits were in the potatoes. So yes, some of the chits might have been facing down, but I would say by the time I got to potato 300, it could have been anyway. As long as they grew, what does it matter at the end of the day? But lesson learned is this time I will try to make sure the chits are facing upwards rather than downwards. So I know for this time round, but at least it wasn't a wasted effort before, and all the potatoes that we planted have produced some greenery, so that's a good sign. We also have some soil here which has been loosened by the boars. It's quite hard to see on the camera, but when you look at one area compared to another, it becomes very obvious to the eye. Oh, like for example, look at this lavender, it's all squashed, smooshed. Unbelievable. The boars must have literally been rolling in it. This was like this height and now it's all lay flat. But look at that for beautiful colours of purple. So pretty. Hey Billy! Hey darling! Hi, Bear. Trying to keep these dogs away from the potatoes. It was just too exciting. I know, little man. So as you can see, I've literally just laid some potatoes on the loose soil here. Quite a few potatoes in rows, and Will is just covering them. Easy peasy. A bit easier than what we did before, eh?
Definitely.
We had a lot of people ask why we didn't rent a machine to till the land whenever we planted our first batch of potatoes. The reason being is, well, we never really intended to plant on this scale, but also all of our gardening so far has followed no dig methods. We tend to use raised beds and try to build on the soil rather than till the soil. So for that reason, we weren't really interested in tilling it to plant it in. However, I do realise that digging it by hand does kind of the same job, but it's not really something that we want to repeat if we can. So that's why we've looked into other methods, and that's why we are now being lazy potato farmers. Which, like, this is so much less effort.
It is. Also, a lot of the areas quite bad access for machinery.
That's another thing to
which
consider.
Makes it a bit harder. The time you spend trying to get it to the area, you could have a good bit of it done already. How's it looking, wifey?
Very good. So here we have one giant big potato bed. We have potatoes planted in the further away half, and this half is ready for the potatoes to be set into the rows. Will thought it would be easier to scrape all the muck back on top of this soil and then just make little trenches to pop the potatoes into, as trying to scrape the soil over the potatoes over here without actually moving any of the potatoes was a little bit difficult. So this way we can just make sure that they stay in their positions. Yeah, happy with the spuds. Good supervising, gang. There they all are there, all buried and all mulched over.
I am just down at the entrance of our chicken field where our gate is. So just spin the camera around. This is our chicken run in the center of our field, which is all fenced in. I do come down every night to close this run door once it's dark, as the chickens are already inside and safe because of their automatic door on their coop. I also check inside the coop just to doubly make sure that they're all in there. But a few nights over the last week or two, coming down with the torch, I have seen some eyes reflecting on the torch just behind me up on this hill, and I'm quite curious of what it actually is. Last night I was down, I don't know if you can see from here, but the fence posts at the top, it nearly looked like the eyes were directly on top of the post, whereas before I thought that they were just on the hill, like a rabbit or a cat or fox or something, but it doesn't seem right if it was on the post. So today I've brought my trail cam down and I'm going to bring it up, try and get it set up, possibly looking at the top of the fence post, which I seen the eyes on last night. Try it for a night or two and then possibly move it somewhere a bit further away, getting a bigger view of the top of it. Hopefully I'll find out what I've been seeing at night. Trail cam up here, pointing towards them two fence posts. I think something's been sitting up here, looking down for something to eat.
Hi, beautiful. Hey, Muriel. Hey, Winton. Hey, Eileen. Hi, everyone. This afternoon I am on the hunt for some baby oak trees. I'm at the top of the forest and I've saw quite a few about, so I've come down with my shovel to dig them up because there's already quite a lot of tree coverage up here, and to give the baby oaks a fighting chance, I think I will rehome them. I'm going to pop them onto the hill that was covered in broom. Well, I'm going to plant them into the hill that was covered in broom, and hopefully they will have a chance of growing. I know it's going to be a long time for them to reach a decent height, but yeah, it's a nice task to do. We have a little cluster here. Which hopefully will dig up nicely. They're just in the midst of this olive and this other oak beside, so let's try and dig them up. I've just pulled another one up and it came up really easy just with my hand, and look, you can actually see where it's growing out of the acorn. That's just amazing. Nature is amazing. I have a grand total of 20 baby oaks, nice round number to plant. I intend to plant them on this hill. That we cleared recently. There are some really big pine trees here. And a couple of oaks already. But a few more will help protect the landscape. Our neighbour's dog Jake alongside R3. Simba, away from the oaks. No. I got you some flowers.
All the doggos down having fun. My gang. Bailey's the loudest. The smallest is the loudest.
Always the loudest.
Always. Your fingers in there.
Soft. The soil.
Good for growing roots.
Yeah. Even needing a shovel.
Good job.
Where to next?
Where to next?
Over the hill a bit.
Over the other side of the caves.
I did also plant some crabapple as well. Morning! So today is the day where we are finally going to make a start on the wall mural in the baby's room. So it's this big white wall that we're going to paint on. And the first thing I'm going to do is mix up some sort of like a light blue paint to put kind of at the top of it as a base coat, which will act like a sky, if that makes sense. So yeah, some blue paint on the wall. Easy enough start, I suppose. Mural update. I've now put a nice light blue colour on the top half of the mural wall here in the nursery. And it's a little bit difficult to see, but I have drawn out the outline of the first animal, which will be an elephant. Quite big in size, maybe takes up about a third of the wall overall. I have been painting all morning and it is really quite slow progress. I'm just not rushing and taking my time painting away. I think I could literally be painting here for quite a few days solidly in order to get the elephant done. But happy with how it's looking so far.